Alright everyone, welcome back to Hrithvi AI system. Today we're starting with something really simple. An empty C:\quantum OS/textlab folder. No project, no source code, nothing. And that's exactly what makes this interesting. Instead of building everything myself, I'm going to let ChatGPT Codex create this application from scratch. The goal is simple. Let's build a clean Notepad-style editor first. Then we'll test it, break it, improve it, and see just how far Codex can actually take it.
Alright. Codex has confirmed the folder is completely empty. Perfect. Now it's planning the very first version of TextLab. The plan is to build a lightweight Windows editor with everything you'd expect. Creating files, opening existing documents, saving, save as, editing shortcuts, word wrap, and zoom controls. The best part? I'm not manually creating the project structure. Codex is taking care of all of that for us. Let's see what it comes up with. Nice. The first build is already finished. Now I'm typing your turn. Let's open the folder and take a look. We've got the README, the Start TextLab shortcut, the main textlab.cs source file, and the compiled TextLab application. Everything looks exactly where it should be. That tells Codex to take over and test what it just built. It immediately opens the project folder, finds the executable, and gets ready to launch the application. Alright, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Moment of truth. TextLab launches successfully. And honestly, this is exactly what I was hoping to see. Nothing fancy. Just a clean first version that's actually usable. We've got the File, Edit, and View menus, along with an empty editor waiting for input. But here's the real question. Does it only look like a text editor, or does everything actually work? Let's find out. Alright. First things first, let's actually type something. I don't just want to see if the window opens, I want to know if this thing actually feels like a real text editor. So, I'm just writing a quick title, adding a few notes, and putting together a small checklist. Nothing complicated, just enough to test the basics. Can I type smoothly? Does editing feel responsive? Do undo and redo work? What about copy and paste? And of course, saving the file. So far, I have to say, it's feeling pretty good. Everything responds instantly. No weird lag, no broken controls. It actually feels like a proper desktop application. That's a really good start. Our test document is ready. The next thing I want to verify is saving. Because writing text is one thing, but creating a real file on disk is a completely different test. The Save As dialog opens inside the TextLab folder. The file name field is already selected. Now let's save it and see what happens. Let's save this as Codex Demo. Clicks Save. Okay, there it is. Looks like the save worked. If you're as curious about AI as I am, hit that like button, subscribe to Hrithvi AI system, because we're only getting started. Alright, the basic version looks good, but I want to add one more thing. An About page. Nothing fancy, just some information about TextLab, the version, and of course, the Hrithvi World website. Alright, let's ask Codex to add that. Okay, it's updating the source code now. Let's just give it a minute. Whenever Codex makes changes like this, I usually let it finish everything before touching anything. Alright, looks like it's done. Now I'm going to type, your turn. If you've watched my previous videos, you already know why I do this. It's basically my way of telling Codex, go ahead, check everything, fix anything if needed, and make sure the application actually works. Let's hit enter and see what happens. Nice, Codex is opening TextLab again. Now it's checking everything automatically, making sure the new About page is working, making sure nothing else broke, and verifying the application is still stable. So far, everything looks really good. Alright, the About page looks good. Now I want to make TextLab a little more useful. Instead of only saving text files, let's see if Codex can add export support as well. I'm keeping the prompt really simple. Give export feature also, PDF, Word, Excel, and image. Let's see how Codex handles that. Codex is working on it now. This part usually takes a little bit, so let's just let it do its thing. Okay, looks like it's finished. Now I'm going to type, your turn. And if you're wondering why I always type that, it's actually pretty simple. I let Codex build the feature first, then I hand everything back to it. From here, it checks its own work. If something breaks, it usually catches it before I do. So instead of manually testing every little thing, I let Codex go through the application first. All right, let's see what happens. Looks like it's opening TextLab. Good, that's exactly what I wanted. Now it's starting the export tests. First, the image. Nice. Now the Word document. That worked too. Next, the PDF. Come on, don't fail now. Perfect. Everything saved successfully. Honestly, that's pretty impressive. Adding an export button is one thing, but actually generating real files that open correctly, that's a completely different story. And so far, Codex is doing exactly what it promised. Great. The export feature is working really well. So, what else can we improve? I'm just going to ask Codex. What more features can we add? Give me the top 3. Honestly, I'm curious to see what it recommends. Let's hit enter. If watching AI build real software is your kind of thing, you're going to love what's coming next. Subscribe to Hrithvi AI System, because the next project is going to be even bigger. Okay, these are actually really good suggestions. Let's have a quick look. First, multiple tabs. That means we can work on more than one document at the same time. Honestly, that's something every modern editor should have. Next, find and replace. I'm glad Codex suggested this. Once your files start getting bigger, this becomes one of those features you use almost every day. And finally, dark mode with saved settings. Now that's a nice typing, add this 3. Let's see if Codex can handle everything in one go. Looks like it's started working. This isn't a small update anymore. Adding 3 major features together usually means changing a lot of different parts of the project. So I'm just going to let Codex do its thing. One thing I really like about this workflow is that I don't have to tell Codex which file to open, which class to edit, or which line of code to change. I simply explain the result I want, and it figures out the implementation. Honestly, that feels much closer to working with another developer than using a coding assistant. Still processing? Good. I'd rather let it think for another minute than rush the changes and introduce bugs. Okay, the code changes are finished. Now comes my favorite part. I'm typing, your turn. If you've watched my previous videos, you probably already know why. This is basically my way of handing everything back to Codex. From here, it checks the project, builds the latest version, looks for errors, launches the application, and starts testing everything automatically. No shortcuts, no pretending, just real testing. Here we go, the application is opening. First, it's checking multiple tabs. Nice, that's working exactly as expected. Now it's moving over to find and replace. Let's see. Perfect. Searching works, replacement works, and nothing else seems to be affected. Now for the last feature, dark mode. Honestly, this is the one I was most curious about, because changing themes usually affects the whole interface. Nice, dark mode is working. Even after restarting the application, the settings are still there. That's exactly what we wanted. I have to say, I'm actually impressed. A few minutes ago, this was just an empty folder. No project, no source code, nothing. And now, we've got a proper Windows text editor, multiple tabs, find and replace, dark mode, PDF, Word, Excel, image export, an about page, and everything is actually working. If you enjoyed building this together, make sure you're subscribed to Hrithvi AI System. This channel isn't about showing perfect AI demos. It's about testing AI in real projects, finding its limits, fixing problems, and seeing what's actually possible. And before you go, I've got a question for you. What should we build with Codex next? A bigger desktop application?
A complete business management system? Or maybe something powered entirely by AI? Leave your idea in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next build.